Well, lads, how we getting on? So, we're gonna get straight into it. Third time trying to record this video. I have no camera person, so I've been doing this all by myself. First video, only had half my head. Second video, I forgot to delete the first one, so most of the space on my phone that I'm recording this off was gone. So I only got like 3 or 4 minutes of this video recorded. So we're gonna try to go through it. All of my tools that I'm gonna show you how to like zero gap and like lubricate with oil and clipper side and stuff has already been done. So they might look fairly clean, but the fundamentals of what I'm going to show you still come into play. So first of all, what is zero gapping? Zero gapping is a term you're going to hear an awful lot, and it's to do with your clippers or trimmers and making sure that the cutting blade, which is the one that moves on your clippers and trimmers, is as close as you can get when it's closed all the way to the stationary blade. So imagine this was the stationary blade, the one that feeds all the hair into it at the back. You've got your cutting blade that's at the very front. That would go back and forward like this. And when you have it up to the very top, you want to make sure that it's as close to the top without overlapping. You want to make sure it's as close to the top without overlapping. Once it overlaps, it can cause irritation to the skin, red marks, or even lacerations. So you want to make sure that you have this done properly, or at least to a safe level where you feel comfortable working with. Now, so to do this, all you need really, it's just a screwdriver and the appropriate bit to remove your blades on your thing. Mine, and for most of the Babyliss Supermoto ones, as far as I know, has a little code on it of C or V3. And with that, then you pop your thing into your screwdriver, your bit, have a look at the back, and you're going to start taking it apart. Now, a lot of people I know, when they're doing something like this, they always feel uncomfortable saying, oh, well, what if I don't know how to put it back together? It's fairly simple, but a good rule of thumb to follow when you're doing things like this is if you do it on a surface where you feel comfortable. You can do all this standing up at your station, but if you have time to sit down and do it before or after, feel comfortable doing it. Take your 2 screws out on this one. Probably should be holding it properly. So yeah, take your 2 screws out and put them down. So if you're taking apart something, in general, when you're taking it apart, whatever you start with, lay it out in order in front of you. So I start with the left and the right, and then I'm going to take the stationary blade off, put that down. The cutting blade will come off next. So then when you're putting it back together, you know I'm going to put my cutting blade back on, then the stationary blade, right, left, and then you're back together the way you had it. Fairly simple to follow, but it's a good one to keep in your head. You might think, yeah, that's basic, I know that. It's a good one to keep in your head though. So clean off any hairs, get your brush, whatever you find appropriate. Clean off any hairs that are inside your tool, around the motor itself. The motor is just inside there. That's what connects to the cutting blade, which moves and makes it go around. So cleaning that out is important because it stops the motor from overheating, lets it move around freely, and then also reduces the risk of any cross-contamination of any hair coming in contact with your client's skin, which could then cause infections. So once you have that done, you can pop the stationary or the cutting blade back on after you've brushed all of this out. So I've already done this a few times. So you've taken it apart, you brush the inside, you brush your blade next. You want to brush your blade. Next, once you have that all brushed out, you can spray with your clipper side, which is this stuff here, or any kind of lubricating and disinfectant spray you use. Once you have that done, pop it back on. The white little part is going to go on top of the motor. You're going to put both of the little spring clips back inside their holders, and you'll notice that it's very tense, that it holds in place. You are going to push that down then. So after you've done your cutting blade, you're going to make sure you get your stationary blade, make sure that's all cleaned off, spray it if you want with your lubricating spray, about 15-20 centimeters away. A little spurt, I'm only doing because I don't want to keep spraying it because I've done it already. You're going to put that back on, and you're going to press everything down, hold it in place with your hand that you're holding the clipper with, grab your screw, whichever one you took off second, put it into place, grab your screwdriver, and you're going to push it all the way in, lock it in. That'll take a little bit of pressure off your hand, and you won't feel like everything's going to spring off on you because it is very tense. It will fly off if you don't hold it properly. So just keep it in hand. Once you have all that in, boom, you're pretty much done. Your clipper's back together, but now you want to zero gap it. So right now, that's it all the way open. I hope you can see it properly. I can't tell on the camera yet, but hopefully you can. You'll see everything is open. It looks a little bit crooked to the side. Now when you close that up, you can see from the side right there, That would seriously injure somebody if you were to use it like that. If you were to like go heavy in right behind the ear, you could cause a serious laceration, and that could be a little lawsuit on your hands, and you don't want that. So just loosen each side up slightly, because that'll give you a chance then to move the stationary blade around. On this one, that's what that works. Sometimes it'll be the other blade that you'll be moving around, but this one, for this, you're going to move the stationary blade until, now that you have that all the way closed, so let your lever open again, you're going to close it all the way, make sure that it's level up, eyeball it, maybe close one eye and get it as level as you can, the point where you feel comfortable working with. I feel like it's about there. And then you're going to tighten up each side little by little until it is no longer moving without having to put pressure on it. We don't want to do that too much, because then that will cause the blade to move out of place again. Now if I'm looking at there, for me, that feels good to me. If you can see it yourselves, that looks all good. To test it, close the blade all the way. Anyone that has tattoos will know anywhere down near your wrist is all very soft and sensitive skin. As you can see, my tattoos are very faded down the bottom down there, because the tattoo artist will go easier on them areas. For you, it's the exact same thing. You're going to put that down on your skin, rub it across, feels okay. Then test it just by tapping down on your skin. Feels a little bit sharp to me, so that would cause marks. Maybe we'll just loosen it up a little bit more. And that's why you test it on yourself, because if you were to put that straight on someone's skin, right behind their ear, or on their neck, or right on their cheeks, or on their beard, you would leave large enough red marks that they would be irritated. So, checking again. I'd be happy enough with this right now. Tighten it back up, and back up again. And then just test it again. Yeah, fine for me. That would be fine on somebody's head then. And still, zero gap, still going to give you a tighter cut. Now, once you have this all done and you've sprayed it and you feel like it's disinfected, once per day, usually at the end, or if you're not going to be cutting that day, at the start of your day, lubricate your blades with a bit of oil, or lubricating oil from Babyliss, whatever you're going to use. Put that across, open your thing up, rest it across, and put it at the point of contact between the cutting blade and the stationary blade. That is where the most friction is generated, and the friction from that will cause heat. And when you get heat on these things, when you're doing it like a bald fade, or you're like detailing out an area, that can singe the skin and be, most of all, uncomfortable for the client, but it could also cause a little bit of a burn, so you have to be careful with that. Once you have that done, we'll move on to the trimmers. We've got the Babyliss FX Low Pros here. With these ones, they come with a zero gapping tool. I don't find it too useful myself, but it can be for people who feel uncomfortable doing it otherwise. You'll pop it on there. You're going to loosen up the two screws that are here with the little tool that it gives you. Once you have it loose, you then use this then to maneuver the blade up, but I find that it pushes it too high up, as you can kind of see on there. So what I like to do is take it off, maneuver it myself to the point where I feel comfortable working with. Again, with trimmers, they can be an awful lot sharper, so you do have to be very careful with them how you zero gap these, because they will be going into the most sensitive areas to detail them out. Once you feel comfortable with that, then guys, same technique. You're going to tighten one side slightly and then tighten the other until they are both fully set into place. Nice and easy. So at the back, you can see there's two screws on this one as well. Once you remove them, that would give you access to your motor. Same as your clippers, you're going to do the exact same thing. You clean this all out, disinfect, so brush it out after you've removed everything, put it all back together whatever way you feel comfortable. Zero gap it with the tool, disinfect it, and make sure once a day, usually at the end of the day, so you don't have oil all over your blades, or at the start before you start work. Lubricate up your blades just by letting it come across the point of contact where the friction is going to be at its height. With that then, guys, we'll come on to the foil shaver. I've got a single foil shaver here by Wahl. It's the Vanisher, I think it's called. What you're going to do with that is, as I said, I've already done previous videos and they've gone wrong. So with this, you just take it off and take off the blade. Down here then, you'll normally see lots of skin flakes and bits and bobs like that. With that, you want to make sure that you fully clean this off every time, because you don't want to have any kind of skin particles going on somebody else's skin, because it can definitely cause infections, and cross-contamination on skin can be it can cause infections. So cleaning it off fully would be highly recommended, and probably a good practice to get into. So cleaning all that off. Once you have that done, you're going to then get your blade, get right in there with the brush that you're using, and checking both sides, getting right in, making sure that it comes through all clear like this. Once you have that done, spray it with your disinfectant, pop it back onto the spring or onto the clip that it's coming on like this, ready to go. Take apart your foil then. So for taking apart the foil, you're going to see there's little bits on the inside. Some people get like very wary about doing it. There's just little clips inside that you're going to pop it back onto. Pop that down, clean out inside of the casing itself. All the hairs and residue all get stuck in there as well. So take that off. Maybe a good idea to dip this, because it's only plastic, into some barbicide and stuff like that. Not every time, but a lot of the times, maybe once or twice a day. Just make sure that it's fully clean. And then the foil itself, getting it on your hands, giving it a good brush, both sides, making sure it's all clean on the inside. And then popping it back into its casing. You spray this down with its disinfectant as well. The clipper side. Sometimes you can also have this one here. It's called wall blade ice. That can also work, but clipper side seems to be the one that most people would use generally. That all clipped back into place like this, guys. You'll hear it click sometimes, and then you'll know it's not going to fall back down. And then once you have that, pop it back on top of the actual foil shaver itself, and you should be good to go, ready for the next client. And with that, guys, that's pretty much it in terms of your zero gapping and basic clipper and tool maintenance. It's a good practice to get into. I'd highly recommend reading up on it a little bit more. Maybe watch some more YouTube videos. There's hundreds of videos out there of people who are way more practiced and senior than I am at this, who will be good to watch. So educate yourselves on it. But I hope this helped out. A little tip I have then for if you wanted to sterilize your tools, if you're like me and you're not working in a shop just yet, or you're working mainly from home, or you don't have access to a station and you have to do most of your stuff from home, getting yourself a bottle of this stuff here. It's Milton. It's sterilizing fluid. When I worked in bars and stuff like that, you'd use it to help clean out your coffee machines. You'd also, since we had babies, you would use it to clean their bottles and their teats and stuff like that off the bottles, and for general home sterilization. So putting that into a solution of warm water, maybe boil a kettle and let the heat go down, pour it in and mix it all together. Directions are on the bottle. Usually just a cap full will do you. And once you do that, get all your plastic combs, anything like that that's not stainless steel, even though you could, but mainly just your plastic stuff, and especially your brushes like this one here. Leaving that in a solution of hot water and Milton will help kill off any flakes, anything that's caught in there from when you're brushing people's hairs out, and all the flakes and fresh skin that you've just got. Yeah, popping that into the solution, wringing it out, getting your hands in there, really cleaning it all out, putting it into another solution, and then letting it dry for the next day. You're giving yourself the best chance of reducing any chance of infections, showing that you are putting care into your craft and care for your customers. So again, this is all very basic, but it is something that you will probably have to incorporate into your day-to-day. I hope it was helpful for you. If it was, or if you found any kind of useful information on it, please feel free to let me know down below, or send it on to somebody who you think may avail of this kind of help. Anyway, till I catch you on the next one. Cheers.